Chapter 47, Darling, are you avoiding me? Ignoring the concerns of his mother, Liu left after getting into his car. Liu's tendency to act on a whim and lose interest quickly was something that Mrs. Liu was worried about, especially when it came to matters of the heart. However, at this moment, Mrs. Liu didn't know that Liu had waited for a full 8 years to openly hold Su Wanci in his arms, call her his wife in front of everyone, and boldly declare his affection for her. In this life, he was willing to give up everything, but there was one thing he would never let go of, her. At the Xiangcheng Special Police Team headquarters, Su Jinyi and several of his teammates were tracking an international fugitive. Ji Zihuan walked in with a notification from their superiors and frowned. Captain, we received an urgent notice from the Xiangcheng headquarters. We have to immediately go to the neighboring city to rescue the stranded individuals. One of the teammates, who was busy working on a computer, complained upon hearing this, "Aren't we the special police? Why do they keep dumping all sorts of tasks on us?" Ji Zihuan also wasn't happy about it. "Who said we're not? We've been chasing after that international fugitive for a month and haven't made any progress. It's a disgrace to the reputation of our special police team." Recalling the incident involving Ji Tang, they had been chasing after him for an entire month before finally finding a single lead. However, during the pursuit, Ji Tang's cunning had led to injuries for Ji Zihuan and his team. By the time Ji Tang was located, he had completely disappeared again. Thinking of the previous incident, Ji Zihuan told Su Jinyi, "I heard that among those stranded, there's not only local residents and tourists but also a member of an acting troupe." Su Jinyi turned off the computer and stood up. "Prepare yourselves. We'll depart in 15 minutes. At the rescue site in the neighboring city, Su Wanci and the medical staff from Hualien Hospital arrived at the scene around 1 p.m. The location, although in the suburbs of the neighboring city, had beautiful scenery and was a well-visited scenic spot with mountains and water. For decades, this place had never seen any accidents. However, this time, continuous heavy rainfall over the course of 4 to 5 days had led to a mountain collapse. Thousands of tourists, numerous local residents, and the entire crew of the drama, including Ji Tang's crew, were all stranded. As soon as Su Wanci arrived, she joined the rescue efforts without taking a break. Xiangcheng and several local hospitals had sent rescue teams, and all the medical staff were working together. When Su Wanci appeared, she attracted many glances. Everyone in Xiangcheng knew about her marriage of convenience with Liu. While many might have wished to strike up a conversation with such a beautiful woman, the thought of her husband being Liu made them dismiss the idea. The power of the Liu family wasn't something to be taken lightly, not only in Xiangcheng but also throughout the entire country. As evening approached and the sky grew darker, after several hours of continuous rescue work, the injured had almost all been treated thanks to the collective efforts of the rescue teams. Li Minghui finished tending to the last patient and was about to take Su Wanci and the others to rest when he noticed a well-dressed male doctor walking up to Su Wanci with a bottle of water. This doctor had recently returned from studying abroad and was unaware of Su Wanci's identity. After tending to his patient, he couldn't wait to approach her. "Hello," he handed the water to Su Wanci. "I'm Song Ming, a chief doctor recently transferred to Anji Hospital. Could you let me know which hospital you're from? I'd like to get to know you better." Su Wanci hadn't responded yet when a deep voice came from behind. "Wife." In front of everyone's gaze, Liu walked over from the grass, heading straight for Su Wanci. Amidst the scrutiny of everyone present, he approached the surprised male doctor, put his arm around Su Wanci's waist, and then looked at the doctor with a hint of a smile playing on his lips. Without hesitation, he brushed against the bottle of mineral water that Song Ming still held in his hand. Lowering his head affectionately, Lu asked Su Wanci, "Wife, who is this?" Su Wanci raised her gaze to meet Liu's eyes and said lightly, "I don't know." Hearing these 3 words, a deeper smile formed on Liu's face. The male doctor named Song Ming immediately felt awkward, his face turning both pale and green. He instinctively lowered the hand that was still half raised in the air. "I'm sorry, I thought this doctor looked a bit tired, so I wanted to give her a bottle of water." Coming to strike up a conversation only to run into the person's husband, this kind of awkwardness made his expression quite unnatural. Fortunately, Liu didn't press the matter further. He nodded slightly and then pulled Su Wanci away. In the deserted pavilion, Liu put his arm around Su Wanci's waist and pulled her into his embrace. He lowered his gaze to her eyes, his expression a mix of amusement and seriousness, as he asked, "Baby, are you avoiding me?" Su Wanci's gaze flickered for a moment, and she denied, "No, you're overthinking." His gaze was too invasive, causing Su Wanci to instinctively step back. However, Liu intentionally loosened his grip a bit. Taking advantage of her backward movement, he pressed her against a pillar behind her. Bending slightly at the waist, the distance between them became very close. He stared at her and asked, "If you weren't avoiding me at night, why didn't you see me in the morning?" Su Wanci turned her head slightly and explained, "I received a last-minute notification in the morning, and the time was very tight." At this moment, Liu got serious. "Where was it tight? I called you at 9:30, and you left at 11 o'clock, leaving an hour and a half in between." Su Wanci's brow furrowed slightly as she looked at the man in front of her. "Liu, what do you want to say?" The man looked at her deeply for 2 seconds and then playfully said, "Naturally, I want to come with baby." He pinched the soft and boneless waist in his palm and smirked, "Since we're newlyweds, I've personally delivered 3 meals a day to you. Now suddenly you're going on a business trip without knowing how many days you'll be gone. As a husband, of course, I want to come with my wife." Listening to his words, that thought that had been hovering in her mind these past few days surfaced again. Recalling his increasingly intimate actions over the past few days, Su Wanci hesitated for a moment. Looking into his eyes, she asked seemingly casually, "Young Master Lu, you're not falling for me, are you?" Her question sounded light, almost like a joke. However, Liu clearly saw the depth and seriousness in her eyes. If he hadn't witnessed her breakdown when confronting Fu Jingzhou a couple of days ago, Liu might have actually admitted it now. Although she never said it, Liu could see it clearly in these 2 weeks of getting to know her. The current Su Wanci, after enduring 8 years of deception from Fu Jingzhou, no longer dared to trust anyone. There was a wall in her heart, carefully enclosing herself within it, not daring to step out on her own or let anyone get close. Because she was afraid. Afraid that after giving her all, she would encounter another Fu Jingzhou. So, if he confessed his feelings now, what awaited him wouldn't be her gradually falling for him, but her deep rejection and resistance. To the current Su Wanci, Liu was just a stranger she had known for half a month. Countless thoughts, all within a second. Meeting Su Wanci's gaze, Liu suddenly tightened his grip on her waist, pulling her close against him. Softness and firmness pressed closely together. He smirked mischievously, his eyes dark and shifting, as he said at the corner of her lips, "Baby, you added an extra word." "What word?" He held her neck, making her tilt her head back. "Baby, I like you body." The last 2 words were bitten heavily, filled with a sense of entanglement.